I don't mind that it's dark, actually. I don't mind it. I don't need the light. Okay, so I want to talk to you about. I want to tell you that I do have a little bit psychic abilities, but it's complicated because I do not have inherent psychic abilities that I it's not because of my genes at all, and I have no perspective except for things that have happened in this iteration. And personally, anyone can build their psychic ability when they connect to the spirits or the cosmos or whatever you believe. You can build more understanding about things when you have a bigger picture than you're expecting right now in your flesh and blood. And so I think anybody can be psychic, um, but it does take a lot of work to get to it. I do not think that I have anything that if I experienced something, it was not visual. And I am not schizophrenic. I've only ever had sometimes to hear something lightly. And it's not as complicated because I think I even have if I have a skill that I didn't create, it's because I almost died from the womb and I almost died when I was early 20. And I think because of that, I have an access to if I have the skills, it's that's not something you can grow. It's because I almost died. Which is funny because well, I guess I might not have been. Well, even hmm, the belief that I'm with is that it's iterations, reincarnation, that you accept what happens in your life. You because of the cosmos does not have the time that we have here. Like if you remember when Interstellar, a different planet has a different set of time than we experience on Earth. It's like that. So the cosmos, they have their time, and then they can access all of the time at any point at time because it's entirely different things. Which means from that cosmo, with you before being born in this one, you can see. I'm sure there's timelines and all that. They can still see, oh, here's something that you're probably going to get. Or maybe they see all of it and they understand about that. And you just want to see if, like, maybe there's factors where it would have changed. And so you could say, oh, if this happens, this will happen. If this happens, this will happen. If this happens, will this happen? And then you'll just see as it goes. But ultimately, you understand everything could happen in this life and you accept it entirely. And part of that means I understand this, but actually, then on this one, when you immediately have it, you just go, oh shit, like me from the womb. From the womb, the closer you are to the spirits, as in before you start growing with your human body, you still have an access to the spirit world. So it makes sense that you, as a womb, little baby, it makes sense that I would be like, oh shit, this shit's gonna be awful. And so with a mix of the human body as well as the access to the cosmos and understanding where things are gonna happen, probably as a baby, I was like, I could have just died when I know it's gonna be rough as fuck, which it has been. Um it has been rough. And then I do it again when I'm a grown adult, like late 20s and all that. Yeah. No, early 20s. So I started and I'm like, oh shit, this shit sucks. Even as a grown adult, I go, I better have the option to die because this shit's toxic. This is fucked up. Um, but I also understood that while I know it's going to be fucked up, I guess at some point I understood that, you know what, I might be building my psychic skill to get more connected with the cosmos, which I think of as cheat code because it's not really cheat code because it's more of the ultimate awareness to understand of the cosmos and understand of the reincarnation and building and remembering your past lives. It's more of a cheat code, but not really because you have to build it. You know what I mean? Because if you think about video games, that we understand that we have this and that, and we create a cheat code, but video games are code, and people create the access to have a cheat code in the first place. So, really, you're just talking about developers, in which case they create the option to know about the cheat code as is. And, it's not for the vast majority. People don't know it unless they search for it, which is probably what we have with psychic abilities. People who are like, well, shit, the developers in the cosmos give us the option to understand all of this, and we might even remember about this. And look at this cheat code. It's more of like if you work enough to understand about the cheat code that they have, which is still a lot of work, not the same way as Sims, Motherload. It's like other shit. You still have to work for it and all that. So here we go. There's that rain. That's yeah, so I don't want to believe it as cheating because it's just the way it is. If I don't want to be rude to the developers in the cosmos where I'm like they made it easy for me. Not really. It's more of like I suffer before understanding about all of this. What's the point of the suffering without building something for it? Like, am I supposed to maintain the suffering? Why? That's the whole capitalist thing, right? Suffering is more of like I don't know, it's the capitalism, Catholicism, Christianity. They believe you're supposed to suffer, and it's like we didn't coded code developers of the Cosmo did not even choose that. People just experience and create that in the little world that we have, society. So in the game, they created it themselves. They didn't necessarily create that. They knew it was happening. They didn't like create it though. The developer, the cheat code would be to understand of the cosmos. You won't get it from here. That's just like people in their flesh and blood and they're making shit like that. They accept you to have suffering and shame for no reason, really. It's just like part of the things that you have for the cosmos is they want you to feel the things, feel it all. And they're like, well, if you choose, it means that your consciousness in the cosmos accepted whatever amount of pain and suffering it has because it wants you to know how shit sucks. It means everything is much better. Like, you wouldn't appreciate all that because I said that before. Like, I learned from being Mormon. You wouldn't appreciate the sweetness of whatever you have if you didn't know about bitter. All of that. People have said that many times. And that's how we believe in this, how I'm feeling in the cosmos, which I don't study this, okay? I barely read. I need to read more, but I haven't in a while. I'm thinking about going live and reading books because I have a few books that I bought from the library. And so yeah, Cosmos is like that. What I been saying? That so my psychic abilities, number one is I'm building I think if I have things that I'm more inclined to, it's not visual. I think it's auditorial. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably a fucking real world word from English. English is a joke anyway. So it makes sense. Auditorial makes sense. I'll be real. Fuck you if you say it's not. That's fine. English is a joke. So if I have but I am building my skill for vision anyway. I don't think I'm going to have I can always hear things slightly better, not by much. And I have auditory processing issues, not only from the brain surgery, but from also being autistic and ADHD, the um the auditory is just like, I don't know, makes more sense because I can hear stuff better when I'm um intoxicated, not booze. Intoxicated in another form. I don't want to be removed from YouTube. And with that, so I think that's just what I'm inherently more inclined to. But I've been sober for a while that I think the spirits are having me do these type of things. I've been trying to build my dream work also, which I might have had that too. It's complicated. I don't have any genetic up. I don't know that I have genetic natural thing from my skin. I think I just had it after, dying and shit. Almost dying and shit. And it's probably that I understood that in the cosmos, my consciousness understood that here's my options for it to big a bit better skills for psychic abilities and all of that. I still believe that anyone can do it because I am building meditation to see more spirits, which I did not have any option for that. I'm partially blind from the brain surgery, so it's clear that if I accept that from in the cosmos with my consciousness, I accepted this certain thing, which means I did understand that I was going to be blind to a certain degree and at a certain point. I've always had glasses, right? Which means that already I wasn't going to be able to have full vision ability regardless. So, and then the vision issue from the brain surgery. I just want to say that it's possible to have build a skill that you would not be accepted for or naturally into because I can see certain things now, slightly, barely. So you can spend time to build a psychic ability. It just means it's a lot of work. And mostly it's the meditation that you want to do to acknowledge yourself and um it's more of like being more at peace with yourself and feel that type of stuff. Um yeah, cuz I could hear things stronger when I was having a certain type of thing that's not booze. That I didn't even know about psychic abilities. I just was experiencing it. And I don't even think that's because I'm schizophrenic because I only do it when I'm intoxicated in a certain way. Um or most of the time. I might have heard something at one point that wasn't the way it was. Anyway, and dream work, I've always had I have a very vivid dreaming. I cannot no, I did dream that always. I can remember dreams, a vivid part of a dream when I was a child. So I've always had vivid dreaming. Um I don't know, that's just the way I fucking sleep, I guess. I can dream in a nap like in 15 minutes and I can remember it. The shorter I have asleep, the more remembrance I have of the dreams. So I'm trying to build my dream work without looking onto what they expect of lucid dreaming. I'm actually just trying to trust myself in the dream cycle. And part of that is teas. I boiled some tea, which I boiled to shit. I honestly think I probably I overboiled a certain thing. I'm trying to also raise mugwort, which is like a fucking weed. Not like weed, but like a actual garden weed. I'm trying to raise those. They're fucking hard. Oh shit, I don't know if I have the Japanese one or not. Oh, it might be English. Maybe it's there. It tells me stuff. I just bought something for seeds online and hopefully I get to that and I read about it and then it tells me like how to raise it. Cuz the Japanese one is in the mountain. And so for because it's very hot, it's like in the mountain it means it gets very cold during night and then it gets, room temperature for the day because that's how mountains work, right? If that's the same type as the Japanese mugwort, which I don't know, it means you gotta keep it in the fridge when the sun sets, and then you just take it back out because otherwise it thinks you're really killing it because it's expected to raising in the mountain. And yeah, so I'm doing that mugwort because I think I got the mugwort because of the estrogen levels and all that, and I'm suffering from my PMDD. I think I'm going to put it as tea once I finish this tea that I have. I'll just start sun drying it once I raise it, but it's going to take me a fucking while. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I do need mugwort until I raise it myself. But I have so many seeds coming in that I'm only going to touch probably like 12 of them. Because ultimately, I might raise it and then try and sell it a little bit so people could have fresh mugwort that I maybe raise. Because ultimately, you don't need that much. And you can just cut it anyway and just go let that reroot. I think I have to Google that. But you could probably split it and put it for another option because they're very invasive, which means you get a lot of those. So I think it's for dream work than it is for estrogen levels. I think because I want to build more psychic ability. It's more of like trusting the universe really than anything. Because there's a lot of shit that I don't even know what's going on. So I just want to be more access to that. If I get more to the dreaming, it does mean that I want to remember about a block memory for some toxic like CSA from when I was a kid that I don't remember, which means I blocked it. And but I also want the access to my past lives because at some point I was rich in certain um iterations. And I want to know about if I remember that, I can know how they build that to get that um, wealth. And when I understand about the wealth, now I know how it's to be poor. And I believe that people can still give and share to other people. So I believe that if I get more rich, I just give so much more for sharing to other people and all that. So I don't even think that, I still think that um, all this human basic skills of like shelter, food and water, um what else am I thinking about? I think everything should be fucking free. Transportation should be free. Not even cars. I'm not even believing in cars. I'm talking about like a train, the bus drive. Bus is cheap as fuck anyway, so I'm cool with that. Um yeah, I want more options for humans to not even have to pay for it, which would mean me and a farm sharing all vegetables. I'm just learning how to garden, and apparently the universe wanted me to wait on the garden for a section or something because this shit's not even. Man, I don't know how to make it work with all this coastal raining, man. It's everywhere. It is June, which is hurricane season, so. Maybe we're just getting a lot of rain. Oh no. So I have that. I'm building that for dream work, meditation, all of that. But I do want to tell you about this. Sorry it's long. Um my cat is my spirit guide. He's very cool and he's like super strong of a guide. Like so I think well, I wouldn't have been a I wouldn't have been a witch as early as I am now if not for my cat. Like I've been living with my mom and she's been doing woo-woo stuff for years and I never gave a shit. I'll be real. I didn't give a shit for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, I start connecting with my cat. I have this new cat. Well, I hadn't since he was a kitten. This shit was for me. It was supposed to be this little cat guiding me for all of this stuff, and I probably wouldn't be a witch yet. I probably would at some point, just wouldn't be now. But it is now because my cat is so cool. Um, if he meows, he doesn't meow for himself. It's mostly for me, bitch. It's like, bro, there's shit you have to deal with. Um, he's pretty quiet and he's like a very he has such a sense of work for him than you would expect of a cat. It's not the same level of work because yesterday I put him I put him in the vest. I was like, "You want to come with me to the garden?" He was like, "No, bitch. My work is to guide you and to do what you need to do, bitch." I don't know that he would call me a bitch. That's just me, maybe. He has been telling me, so we know that animals have the higher ability, the better hearing options. So the hertz that the cats can do is about 64, 60, 60 to 65. And plants are from 60 to 80 hertz. So, which means probably 60 hertz for plants to make a noise probably means they're content. And then if you're closer to 80, that means they are suffering. And I suck at gardening. I'm learning it now and all that. I do not have enough executive function to fix all this stuff. And I'm regrowing a bunch of stuff. Like for the roots, it requires a lot of it. You have to let it soak so that it gets raising up that roots so it can take plant in the soil. My cat figured that out. I'm like, oh, it stinks. Their stuff is being like, I'm trying to catch all this shit and regenerate a bunch of that, which is like the carrots are doing fine. Tops of carrots, or is that the bottoms? I don't know. It's the green part of it that I start growing that so it gets used to that. And I do that with onions too. With green onions, I can just throw that in because I have these green onions that have been growing the whole time. So my cat was fucking pissed. He did not cuddle me. He didn't cuddle me today, which means he's mad at something. My cat will cuddle me if he feels that he's been heard because he can't tell me it because he's not a parrot. He doesn't have the option to tell me what's in mind. But he has been joining me to some of the time. So if he comes to me in bed or on the couch, it means he's more content. If he doesn't come to me in my bed, I do feel like I did not tell him enough. I did not listen to him enough. Which means he's probably mad at me because I watered my plant yesterday and now it's going to drown for all week. Like it's because I had went so long between It was like it was like like several, it's like almost a week between the last rain and this rain. And so I was like, well, now it's getting too dry. So I go and water it up, and like he was like, I think he's mad at me now because I watered it when I didn't know that there was there was water. It was gonna rain. Shit, man. So he's mad at me. Most of the time, also he doesn't know English, and so I have to ask the fairies for translating it for my cat, which may or may not have happened. Most of the time, my cat wants me to use the pendulum and building my dream work so that he can communicate me in my dreams. Because he did give me a dream. He came to my dream recently, and that was, oh shit, I did remember that. Oh shit, I had a dream. Oh, I don't know what the dream was, but I do remember in my most recent dream, which he was probably there too. Because I had a dream where my cat was there, but I don't remember the dream. He was there, and I did remember the voice of probably my past life. So the voice of me from my last life, I can still remember that. So in this dream, which I don't know what the dream was, whoops, that I could hear the voice of me as my past life as a man. Most recent iteration than it is now. And so yeah, there's a fly. Come get that fly, bro. I seen it. Oh, there it is. Hopefully it gets over to you, buddy. Mm, he's ready for the fly. One of my street screen door has been bopped because of this one cat that keeps coming over here, and he's got no, his balls have not been chopped, and somebody lets him out, or he's just stray. And he like fights my cat. Or maybe his name is Ollie. I don't know, but I asked that from the pendulum. My cat is trying to tell me that. Most of the time, I try to figure stuff out. My cat is pissed because he can hear the fucking plants. And now he's going to hear that from that too. When I open the door, he's going to be able to hear the fucking plants going like, "No, I'm drowning." They're going to be thinking like this. Holy shit, this it's like drowning piss is what these plants are going to suffer because I can smell it. It sucks. So my cat is going to be mad at me. But like low key, what am I supposed to do? It's where we live. So I hope he doesn't get as mad as me. Like how would I know you could tell me that the weather was going to be here? Now I'll just try and do check the weather before I fucking water stuff. I'll look to the weather option, more options, even though we know that the fucking planet, I mean, the country isn't even going to keep it as much. They don't even want to keep it anymore. Well, he doesn't know English. He can't tell me if it's going to be rainy as fuck or not. And now I can't even trust the weather app because of the fucking country. I think it'll be fixed. I think we're going to get rid of whatever's going on and we're going to address most of that, but they don't understand. So the at this point we do not accept the absolute shit that the capitalism has been doing. So I'm trying to limit all the spending I have for corporations as much as I can, as well as yeah. So I focus on doing that and building the community and spending a little bit more for individuals instead of corporations and all of that, so that ultimately big corporations go bankrupt at some point and then we just make more option for people. Wait, oh no, I was saying that, hold on. Anyway, so my cat does that. My cat cares the most about everyone in our little house, me and my mom. He tries to tell me if he's suffering too, but he's mostly telling me about I'm suffering for something because he's supposed to be a guide. And if I'm suffering, I'm not going to be able to focus as much for the psychic abilities. So he does come and tell me about stuff. Like he tries to get me to understand what's going on, and whoops, I forgot that dream. I'm having a tea, like a shot of tea before bed. I do not, I do not, I keep the tea leaves in it. So I just swallow that shit whole. But it is making me have to drink a lot of water for it because it's taking forever. And so I take like it's not that much water, but it does make me piss a lot more. And so I wake up early. I woke up at like 9:30, which isn't that it's like I don't know, I fall asleep around 2. Okay, I guess that was that was a good amount of sleep. But yeah. So he's doing that. He cuddles me if he's being heard. If he's not being heard, he will bite my toes. He will bite my feet. He will bite all this stuff because he's like, you. Now I do feel like he does call me a bitch on this one. He goes, bitch, you ain't listening, is what he's getting to that. Bitch, you're not listening. I have shit to tell you. And this is good shit. This is good knowledge for you. And it's a good thing for you. And you just ignoring it, you dumb bitch. I feel like he does feel about that. He doesn't view me that way. He just means right now you're being a dumb bitch. Um, and at some point, he was telling me that he doesn't want me to use as much pendulum so that I can build my dream work. But that shit's hard as fuck. I'm sleeping, bitch. Like, I don't know. So I'm supposed to not always use the pendulum as often. I should probably, at this point, I just try and use the pendulum mostly for my cat. And even then, the fairies are like, you're supposed to figure this out. Because I figured out that cats, and they can't handle the temperature, so it should be room temperature on whatever food you're having. And I use broth for him to have a little extra moisture in his food, and I do it when I brush his teeth. I brush his teeth about twice a week, and it's not that good, okay? He chews on the toothbrush, and I roll it around so that it gets to all his teeth. But you know what? People usually don't brush it at all. So it's fine. And then I just give him some broth for it. And the broth has to last, and I keep it in the fridge. So if I brush his teeth, I have to. Now I learned that because it's cold, his body can't handle it, so it regurgitates it instead of throws up. So it's all on me, bitch. Anyway, I wouldn't have figured that out from Pendulum until I Googled that shit. So some of it I have to learn if the pendulum is going to tell me this or do I have to Google this? Which is Google without AI because I fucking hate AI. Um, yeah, my cat is very cool, very powerful. Um, which does make me feel like, I don't know, like a lot of people have their cats. I don't know. I feel like this iteration is a lot of cosmic ability, which means I didn't have that in my last life because I was a man. My last life I was a dude and and in the 1900s, bitch. Like we're talking about a lot of probably the patriarchy. So I was probably a piece of shit, Loki, which means I probably didn't address any absolute shit that happened to my last iteration because I have suffering happening for absolute shit right now. But it feels like it's better now that I'm a femme that I can connect to the feminine, which means I have more skill to the cosmos. Um yeah, so he just tells me everything that is suffering and some of that is the mold and most of that is for me. Like he's like, "Oh, it's the mold. It's mostly it's for me to handle it." I get a lot of I cough a little bit. I got a lot of phlegm. I got a little boogie, and it's probably worse than it looks right now, health wise. And I want to figure out how to get rid of this or address this. And I don't know. Am I supposed to have to say alleged because I'm gonna take someone to court? So, allegedly, I haven't done anything yet. I'm figuring out a lawyer. Anyway, allegedly, there you go, bitch. Um, my cat, um, does teach me about a bunch of stuff, which is pretty cool because I need water. He is like mostly teaching me a bunch of stuff. So he's more of like my fucking teacher. I sometimes call him sensei or or something like that because he's he's like guiding me into an ultimate level of psychic abilities and it's crazy. Damn. He's very cool. He's still a cat. He still has his bodily constraint of being a cat. So I am learning how to take care of a cat. And every iteration you learn how to take care of your human body, but you're also supposed to take care of an animal. And maybe I'm going to be having to figure out many animals because I might if I'm having a farm and if I have farm animals, I will have to know about that, which might mean that I want to have dogs. I already had a dog when I was a kid, so I do know how to deal with cat dogs too. This is my first cat that I've owned. I can't even say owned because he's like, I mean, I feed for a cat. I care for a cat. I don't own him really because he really guides me a lot of shit. He like teaches me everything, which is mostly recent. I got him like we met in like um he was born in somewhere August in 2023 and I met him a month after that. So I met him in September. And he has been guiding me a lot, which was first me dealing with being autistic, being ADHD and all of that. He's been guiding me take care of myself as well as him. I mean, he's like, well, it's easy to take care of a cat. I'll be real. It is. Do I do his litter box every day? No. I just do the litter box once a week. But bitch, I brush his teeth. Can you say the same? I don't want to have people shaming people for their level of caretaking for an animal. Like, let's be real. You have a lot of strays anyway, and I mean, would you rather have people shitty as a parent, as a pet parent, or having all these stray cats fucking up each other and just have a shitload more stray cats? Like, come on, let's focus that. They're not going to be brushing their teeth in the street. They're not going to have a litter box in the street. So, I don't want to shame people for having animals when at this point like let's not be a bitch, all right? If you don't want people taking care of a cat, you want it to go back to the street or the shelter. So, it's how it is, man. Um the more you can do, the best you can do if you want to learn how to build the skills of having an animal, that's great. But I don't want to shame people for not knowing about these type of animals. And they could had worse. The animal could had worse, okay? So I ain't gonna be expecting you to brush your your cat's teeth. I people expect you to clean your animals litter every fucking day. They also expect you walk your dog. They also expect you give more enrichment for your cat. There's all this bunch of rules. And I'm like, you know what? This is probably the consciousness of that animal. They accept that this shit's going to be a little bit rough because they understand that somebody's not going to be able to do all of it, but it's better than the street. So let's go deal with that. Because my cat's from somebody's crawl space. The one cat that they found that they could get. The rest of them fucking the rest of the litter died, I'm pretty sure. Um so there you go. Now, not only you had this, I could have had more than that cats, but guess what? I would have been worse of a pet parent. So instead, we accepted that they would die in this crawl space. That's what you get when you think about shaming people for being a pet parent. I'm a better parent because I don't have as many cats. And those little kittens died. So now you're thinking about nihilism. There you go. Um, this is too long a video, so I'm gonna address this very quickly. So anyway, psychic abilities, I think anyone can have it once they spend enough time, and if they're in more control and in connect with their own core and their own consciousness, not just your body, just like your whole soul, which is happens to each reincarnation and all of that. And my cat's teaching me a bunch of stuff because I didn't even give a shit about this. I knew it was reincarnation. I didn't know it was all this Cosmo shit, bitch. That's probably because of my cat, who's very cool. Um, he's a pelican spirit guide, and I barely know what that means. I knew it a little bit, and now he controls the weather. So yeah. I'll just move on with that one.